Look on the left-hand side in that third box down. That gives us a total of 1,119 hours in those 170 days. School start date will be the 24th, and prior to that we'll have 4 days of teacher in service. And during one of those 4 days, we'll have the all staff in service. So we'll have the first 2 days, 17th and 18th, will be teachers only. The 19th will be all staff, and then the 20th will be a teacher day again, probably devoted pretty much to a work day that day. School starts the 24th. School would end then on May 20th, which would be comparable to this year. And the PD days are 4 before school starts, 3 after school's out, 1 in October, 1 in November, 2 in January, and one of the 2 in January is required by master contract. So that first date, the 11th, is required by master contract, and then just added a second day to it. 1 PD day in March, 2 in April, although the second one of those 2 in April will be used as a makeup day if we need it. I built 3 makeup days into the calendar, and they would be in March around Easter. So March 3rd, whoops, am I looking at the right dates? Yes, March, actually it's down toward the end of March. March 24th and 29th would be our first 2 makeup days if we needed them. And then that April 25th will also be a makeup day if we need it. And then we just add a PB day back there at the end. So it's a 185-day contract for teachers, 170 days for students. And this would meet all of the contract requirements, and it would meet all of the state Iowa Department of Ed requirements as well. Is there any questions? Parent-teacher conferences operate just like they have before, and the dates are actually comparable to this year. The whole calendar actually is comparable to this year's calendar because we're just off a couple of days from when we started this year.
So we'll finish the semester before Christmas, like?
The semester will actually finish after Christmas. On January 8th. Yep, it'll be that week after. Yep.
What day did we start last year? What was it?
Like the 21st or 20th or something like that. Yeah. And actually, the reason for starting this date is I had really never heard from any of you that you had complaints come to you, nor did any come to me about what our start date was. So it's sort of like, well, if we can start on the 24th, let's just start then. Mm-hmm. And everything is quite similar. There are fewer PD days during the school year, and tried to make them at the same times each month if we did have them, which would be the second Monday of each month. And then it just felt better maybe to build 2 or 3 makeup days into the calendar so that we would have them and not have to add to the end or towards the end of the year. Now, if we have 7 or 8 days of snow next year that we have to meet and miss, then that kind of defeats the original purpose, but that's, at least we have 3 days built in. Yeah. Teachers have seen this, administrators have seen this, some parents have seen this. I didn't organize like a formal committee, but I just sat down with some people and ran it through people, and there were a couple things that were caught, and otherwise there didn't seem to be much concern about one way or another about what it looked like. First semester is 86 days, second semester is 84. This year our calendar for the semesters is off even more than that. We were off maybe 4 or 5 days. You never can get them absolutely the same. So what I'm going to recommend to you during the regular board meeting is that you approve this calendar.
Okay. Does anybody here have any concerns or questions about it? Did you get a chance to look it over? The only thing I was going to say was around Easter there, those 4 days. But if we've got 2 of those days built in for makeup days, we're most likely going to need a makeup day or 2. So I'm okay with that.
As far as why did we need that kind of thing? Is that weird?
Yeah, I had some people come to me this year and say that we had too many days around Easter. Being gone for 6 days or whatever it was, that was too many days, and so I was gonna see if we could shorten that up.
That's what I had thought we could probably do too, if we get some days in there.
It's almost a given that you're gonna have a snow day or two, so I think that works just fine. Anything else that you guys can see in there that could be of concern? I know last year we had quite a bit of trouble with our calendar here and there, and it seemed to me like it went well throughout the year, so. And this one looks a lot like it.
Yeah.
It's not a 4-day week.
No. My gosh.
Why do you say that?
Let's not say that.
Well,
You
some
shut that
people
off.
still do.
Okay, so, I don't really see any public here, so we don't have to
No,
have
so you can
a,
just adjourn this.
yeah, so I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, so we'll move right on to the regular board meeting. Welcome everybody that's here. Thank you for coming. And I apologize that I was late. I thought it was in Sac or in Lakeview too, so I was just going to go over there. I'll remind everybody that East Sac County Schools empower all students to become productive, responsible citizens of an ever-changing global society. Hopefully we keep that in mind while we make our decisions. Take a motion to approve the agenda.
First, I'd like to recommend that we add 5D to the agenda, which would be to approve a contract.
Okay, so I would take a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda with 5D added for approval of a contract for science teacher. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We'll move on to the report.
Okay, there's just 2 or 3 things in the superintendent's report. The first would be that you might make note of May 27th, and it's after students are released that we're going to be having a recognition brunch for teachers that are retiring, staff that are retiring or leaving our district. So the morning of May 27th from 8:30 to 10, brunch is like 8:30 to 9:30. And then at 9:30, we'll have just a short program to recognize the teachers that are either retiring and or leaving our district. And board members are invited to that. That will be at Lakeview in a small gym. And when that's completed, then we start 3 days of professional development with our teachers. But our classified staff will all be informed, and we also have an ad that will come out in all the local papers so that if the community would like to attend, they're welcome to do that on that morning.
Is that a Wednesday?
It is a Wednesday,
Okay.
yeah, so it's the Wednesday after Memorial Day. Typically, you would have done something at noon, and you would have done it on the day before that, which is a work day for teachers and the day that they actually check out or would traditionally check out. But because it's a work day, we have more professional development days after that, we decided to do something that morning of the 27th. So if that works for you, please, any of you, we'd like to have board members there if you can make it. So, site visit, we had a number of things that we were not in compliance with, and you're going to see a few of those today on the agenda with board policies. And it's a change in some language that was either was either not included in policies or language that we needed to change. So we'll take care of 4 pieces of non-compliance. We're working through non-compliance, and the district approved for the accreditation, so it's not like the district will be closed for business forever. We were cited again in TAG, so we'll be working on that. We had an example of licensure that we had an issue with, was we have a high school English teacher that was teaching speech but does not have a speech endorsement. She has an English endorsement, but she doesn't have a speech endorsement. And she'd been teaching speech since she came to the district, which would have been since the last accreditation visit in the district. Prior to her coming here, she taught speech. They just called it something different. And so when they had their accreditation visit, they didn't get cited. So we've acquired a conditional license for her, and so now she's accredited for 2 years. And she's going to start working on an all-English endorsement, and that will include speech then. So we had 3 or 4 issues with licensure that were very similar to that. All of those teachers now have conditional licenses, and we'll be working on different endorsements. So we were cited for a couple of things related to our school improvement committee. One of the things being that the committee doesn't actually take formal recommendations to the board. That's part of the Iowa Code that says that in their meetings they talk about issues and concerns, but also take a look at all facets of the district, and then they're to make recommendations to the board that are kind of formal recommendations, and then the board decides whether they'll take action on those or not. Honestly, that's a good reminder for us of what the purpose of the SIAC committee is about. So when we have another board meeting, and we are meeting over at noon, I'll give you a little bit longer report on what that accreditation visit looks like. But lots of those things will be taken care of before July 1st. And I'll let you know those that will take us some additional time to take care of. Another update is that, and this has happened routinely in the district, that fireworks over the 4th of July are held here at the Sac Elementary School site, and we've granted permission for them. Again, what we do is get an insurance policy, a copy of an insurance policy to make sure that there's insurance that takes care of that event as it happens. So it's just to inform you that it isn't necessarily something the board has to take action on, that has been approved, and we do get the necessary insurance information. We also had a school nutrition audit this year just before our academic accreditation visit, and it went well. And they had fewer accreditation issues. They had 3, and they were small and taken care of before the auditors actually ever left. That audit has a lot of financial auditing that goes with it as well. Positive comments go out to food service personnel and secretaries in office, Jennifer and Danita, especially Jennifer, who does a lot of work with food service, that school nutrition audit went well. And I think, I write Danita, it'll be 3 years. Do we have them every 3 years? Yeah, and we hadn't had one for 5.
Right.
And somehow that was a little bit of a goof up. We had one the last time we had an accreditation visit. So now we'll have them every 3 years. And the actual DE accreditation visit we had for the academic side will never happen the same way again. They're never coming out to schools where they bring a team of people. It'll all be electronic audits, or what are called desk audits, where we'll submit things electronically, then they'll determine that we're meeting accreditation, or do we need a little help, which we'll do electronically or over the phone, but very rarely will they come out to the districts to work any longer. So kind of a new phase of where this will go. So we can meet the accreditation agreement with this one and kind of bury it and know that it'll be a new form when again. So those would be my updates.
I suppose if they do come out, that's not going to be big.
I would say that might be like the last straw.
Yeah.
Our goal should be that we can do it all electronically from now on. So.
Okay, so we'll move on to, thank you, Barb.
Yes.
We'll move on to new business and discuss or approve 2015-16 calendar. Just had a public hearing on it, obviously, and so unless you guys have any other questions. Or you think we should let the public look at it for a little while?
I'll make a motion to approve the calendar.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the 15-16 calendar. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, move on to discuss and or approve the special education plan. I'm not going to say all those.
Yep, it's the district delivered special ed delivery plan. And you approved a plan a month or 2 ago, and that would have been the plan from 5 years ago, and it needed to be approved again before our accreditation visit. And they knew that our current, the new plan was receiving public feedback or public comment because we had a link on our website to that. That's part of the process we go through. There was no public comment on it, and so the DD-SDP plan that I'm recommending to you is practically identical to the one you approved prior to this, and the only changes that would be made would be language that was recommended to us by our AEA, meaning that it would then meet the new special education laws. So in terms of you're looking at it, you would probably look at it and not notice any difference in what the plan is. And I recommend that you approve this. It will now, then after your approval, if you approve it, it'll go on to the AEA for their review. And then once they've approved it at the AEA, once the director of the special ed services there approves it, then it goes on to the Department of Ed.
Michael, first question is on that first page, or page 4 of the bar, that says Sarah Boyles. And then do we need to replace her with another teacher, general ed teacher?
No, that meeting was already held, and she was just present at that meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. But good question.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the district delivered special education delivery plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried. Thanks, Jay.
You bet.
Okay, we'll move on. Discuss and/or approve board policies. And these were all in your packet.
And if they're not printed in color, what you will see is just some very lightly grayed areas. So on policy 103, it was to add marital status and socioeconomic status in 2 different places of the policy. We didn't have those in that policy. If you turn the page to 103, Exhibit 1, it's the same, marital status and socioeconomic status, and then the Amanda Miller, the high school counselor, is the person directed to receive these complaints, so her name was added. On 103 R1, which is the regulation, it's the same changes. Marital status and socioeconomic status changed in several of those in that second and third paragraph on that page. If you go to page 2 of the regulation, then again it's to change the name from high school or from superintendent to Amanda Miller. If you go to policy 500, objectives for equal education opportunities for students, it's the third paragraph, socioeconomic status needed to be added. If you go to policy 501-16, which is homeless children and youth, we did not have the most current definition of homeless children. And actually, that took us a little bit to find. So that's been added. That will also change anywhere and any other public documents like websites or handbooks. These policies will change in those places as well. And we do need to change the definition of homeless children in some other places in handbooks. And then the last policy is the multicultural gender fair education 603.4, and again it was marital status and socioeconomic status. So I recommend that you approve those changes, and those were accreditation, non-compliance issues. So.
Those will move. Got a motion and second to approve all 6 board policy changes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried. Okay, so we'll move on to 5D.
Yep, I have 3 contracts that I'd like you to approve. We have offered Chaps Wilkie a teaching contract, an assistant football coaching contract, and an assistant wrestling contract. The teaching position will be high school science, and that's for $33,887. The JV football position was created as a result of a resignation, and that is $1,819. And the wrestling position is a result of the discussion that we had through the winter about not being opposed to potentially hiring another assistant wrestling coach. And so we offered him an assistant wrestling coach position at $1,819.
Who is that? Who will help? I didn't do other names in my packet.
No, this was the addition to your agenda. This is when we added the 5D. His name is Chaps, C-H-A-P-S, and the last name is Wilkie, W-I-L-C-K-E. And he would be, all three of these contracts would be for him. Mr. Robinson Greg Robinson is the high school teacher that had resigned a full-time high school position in science, and so this teacher takes his place. Okay. So I would like approval for these if you would.
So moved.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve Chaps Wilkie and all three of the contracts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can move on to discuss future agenda items and set dates. Now, did you have a date that you wanted to do another meeting after John got back, or?
No, we didn't, because I think maybe he started to work on that and that just never panned out much. So today's meeting was because we really needed to get the calendar date approved so we could start to do some things with scheduling in the district, as well as other people were waiting for scheduling. So John got on the plane about the time to do that. We're headed down here he's headed to Florida for his son's golf tournament. So I just said to him, we need to go ahead and do this if we could today and just get a few of these things taken care of. If we could work a board meeting into the last week of May or the first week of June, we'd like it. We would be more than happy to do noon if noon would work, so that we could not have another, not make you think we've got to have another 2 or 3 hour meeting in this month, because we think in another hour meeting we could accomplish the rest of what would have been on tonight's agenda. Then we'd like to schedule a meeting at the end of June to just do the end of year business as close to the end of the month as we can. And we both agreed, if noon is the time that we can do them and that works better, that's fine with us. Because nights seem hard once little kid ball and swim meets and all of that take place. And any night meeting, John and I have agreed, we will just make it work. So we have the lesser schedules of when you're old. And John said he could miss one of Caleb's ball games and life would
Wait a second, I think I'm much older than John.
No, I didn't say he was old, it was me. Better clear that up on this live feed here. He said he could make it work with Caleb's schedule, that wasn't a big issue for him.
I'm good with either one of them. The only problem is when it dries up and warms up, my business is just going to be going wild, so it may be that I may not be able to get here.
So we need to count on the other 4 no matter what.
Noon looks great for me, like you said, with sports at night. Chris, you're probably going to not go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brett, how about you? You got any little ones running around out there?
Nope. He's pouring concrete.
Lisa, how's New Year for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can make, it's just a busy schedule.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's always busy, but I guess noon works pretty good for me.
How we learn things.
So would you prefer a noon during the last week of May or noon the first week of June, or doesn't it?
To me, either one of those is
Yeah,
fine.
whatever.
We have professional development any one of those days through both of those weeks, so it doesn't matter to me either. Somebody just name a, what would Wednesday, the 27th of May look like? You're probably all late. Sounds fine.
I think it looks good to me.
It's a Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday the 27th, and we'll do a noon.
We're asking to put this on my calendar this morning.
Let's do it like you, because we have professional development before and after that I really need to be at, and that would work better. Then why don't we look at the end of June, right, while we've got everybody here.
I am gone the very last of June.
What are the dates of the very last week? Is it the 28th?
The last full week is the 22nd through the 26th, and then we've got just 2 days left in June, and that'll be the 29th and the 30th.
29th and the 30th is baseball tournaments for our age kids. So a night would be out those 2 nights.
And the week before, I must have a game every night because I get a dot on every one of my days.
Okay?
Just about every night, I think.
And again, does it have to be at night or?
No, it doesn't have to be. We were sort of afraid that that was going to be the...
How does 5 in the morning work?
Works great for me. Beth?
Someone might allege
No.
that we were not making this very easy for the public. Do you want to do it like Wednesday, the 24th? That gets us to within like 4 business days of the end of the month for us. Rather than do one at noon on the 29th or the 30th. That's pretty close to the end if there's something's coming up that, you want to do the 24th at noon?
Is that a Wednesday?
That'd be June 24th.
I'm not for sure. I'm either heading up to Vegas on the 21st or 22nd, or we're waiting until the 26th and not coming back. So it's going to be kind of iffy for me, so as long as we have enough of this year.
Okay, let's tentatively make it the 24th of June at noon.
And Lakeview here,
I don't know, we'll have to let you know. All I was thinking is if Amanda can't be there that day, we might as well be meeting where it's closer for you guys to get the majority of the word to get it out of their work, and we'll make Brent drive again.
Yeah,
Move the adjournment.
Okay?
second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good job, man.
So my